Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're taking a spectacular trip back in time to the Golden Grand Vijayanagara Empire. We're diving straight into a really vibrant tale all about immense wealth, bold deception, and, well, razor-sharp wit. At the center of it all are two legendary figures. You've got the robust, totally majestic King Krishnadevaraya and his brilliant, kind of mischievous court jester, Tenali Raman. This right here is a story about a trap set by pure greed and how one clever guy used nothing but a palm leaf scroll to speak truth to power.
So picture this. We're inside the grand, pillared Durbar Hall of the palace, and this Arabian merchant arrives. He's already shown off 3 magnificent, muscular black horses that have the whole court in absolute awe. But he's saving his masterstroke for last. Dressed in this flowing silk turban, he bows low, looks directly at the king, and with the smoothest, most persuasive voice, he makes his ultimate pitch. He says, "My king, I have one more horse. It is the greatest, fastest stallion in the entire world. It's so magnificent, it's literally beyond words. Just give me an advance, and in a few months, I will bring it directly to you." It's the ultimate trap, right? An invisible promise just wrapped in silk and honey.
Act 1. The Golden Trap. And folks, this is where the king's greed really takes the wheel. Now, Emperor Krishnadevaraja is an amazing, majestic ruler, but he has one fatal weakness. He is completely blinded by his love for fine horses. When he hears about the greatest, fastest horse in the world, his eyes just go wide. He isn't looking at the logic of the situation at all, he's only seeing the fantasy of riding this mythical beast. He doesn't ask for collateral, he doesn't draw up a contract. Instead, totally hooked by the fantasy, he happily hands over one massive, incredibly heavy, overflowing burlap sack of golden coins.
You can practically hear the clink, clink, clink of those heavy coins falling into the merchant's hands. The trap is fully sprung. But hidden in the shadows of a grand pillar stands Tenali Raman. His arms are crossed, eyes narrowed. He sees right through this invisible trap. But he also knows you just cannot stop a king who is completely blinded by glittering temptation.
Which brings us to Act 2, the prideful pivot. Enter our missing merchant. The merchant steps out of the palace gates and poof, vanishes into thin air. Day 1, the king has incredibly high hopes. He's already planning where to stable his new mythical horse. By week 3, well, a very uncomfortable, heavy silence falls over the court. There's no dust on the horizon. And by month 2, it's just utter embarrassment. The sun sets on an empty throne room. The king finally realizes he's been taken for a ride, and he didn't even get the horse to show for it.
I want you to really lean in and think about this for a second. Would you ever hand over your hard-earned money to a complete stranger without even seeing the product? I mean, if someone emailed you today saying they had the absolute fastest car in the world and just told you to wire them a down payment, you'd delete it instantly, right? It really highlights the sheer gullibility of the king in this moment. His passion completely hijacked his intellect.
So what does a deeply embarrassed, incredibly powerful emperor do? When he feels foolish, he deflects. The king desperately tries to hide his shame behind a mask of fierce authority. He points his finger directly at his cleverest minister, Tenali Raman, and with a booming, super defensive voice he commands, "Raman, I want to know who the biggest fools in our kingdom are. Find them and bring me a list by tomorrow morning." He basically just wants to point his finger at anyone else to make himself feel a little better.
All right, Act 3, the masterstroke. This is where Raman's brilliant plan comes to life.
The very next morning, the court is electric. I mean, the hall is packed shoulder to shoulder. Everyone is wondering how on earth is Raman going to escape this? Because if he brings a list of random citizens, it's a total cop-out. If he insults powerful ministers, he's just going to make enemies. So whose name could possibly sit at the very top of that scroll to satisfy the king's bizarre demand without causing a complete disaster? Raman unrolls the scroll and reads the top line, written in bold ancient script, "Emperor Krishnadevaraja." The entire court violently gasps. Ministers are literally covering their mouths in pure shock. The king's face instantly turns a bright, furious red. He slams his fist down on the golden armrest of his throne and roars, "How dare you? You put my name first? Explain yourself right now or your head will roll." The entire room holds its breath. But Raman? He doesn't even flinch. With his hands respectfully clasped together, and in this completely serene, calm voice, he delivers just pure, undeniable logic. He says, "My king, you trusted a stranger whose face you barely knew. You bought a horse you couldn't see, and you handed over an absolute fortune up front.
Who in this kingdom could possibly be a bigger fool than the man who did all of that? And just like that, the king's angry expression suddenly softens. He is completely stumped. The logic is bulletproof, and deep down, he absolutely knows Raman is right. But, his pride kicks in one last time. He tries this desperate, witty hypothetical just to save face. Leaning down, he asks in a hushed, challenging tone, "All right, Raman, but what if the merchant is actually an honest man? What if he actually returns with the horse as promised? Then who is the fool?"
Raman just bursts out laughing. He raises his stylus over the palm leaf scroll and declares, "Well, my king, if he actually returns with the horse, I will simply erase your name from this list, and in its place, I will write the merchant's name, because any man who returns that much gold instead of running away with it is undoubtedly the greatest fool in the entire world."
It is the absolute ultimate punchline. The tension in the room just shatters instantly. The warm, bright hall fills with hysterical laughter. And even the king cannot help himself. He's holding his stomach, laughing uncontrollably at his own expense. He completely accepts his mistake. Fully acknowledging Raman's unparalleled wit, the king happily removes a heavy, glistening necklace of royal pearls and hands it right over to Raman as a magnificent reward.
And so, the king's list of fools kind of becomes a mirror for all of us. Have you ever let greed rush you into a foolish decision? Come on, we've all been there. Blinded by something shiny, moving way too fast, trusting without verifying. Tenali Raman reminds us that hasty decisions built on glittering temptation almost always land you right at the top of the fool's list. So next time, take a breath, look for the invisible horse, and whatever you do, never pay for it until you can actually ride it. Thanks for joining us on this explainer, and we'll catch you in the next one.